Sumeyye, when you look at the world today and you see what's going on everywhere, what is, in your opinion, the one conversation that we should be having but we're not?
Mm-hmm. I think the most important conversation that we should be having is talking about the human issue. We need to be talking about all the values that are pertaining to being a human being, being good, having a healthy relationship between human, a healthy interaction, communication, and rather than thinking about material goodness, we need to be thinking about what is really good for the human nature.
I cannot agree with you more. I think we've lost our way when it comes to who we are as human beings and why we're here. Mm-hmm. And I think it begins with the family. Let's take the children right now, the families, the children that are going through incredible, horrific situations in Syria, in Afghanistan, in Iraq, in areas in Africa. These children are our tomorrow. We're failing them right now.
Mm-hmm. We're failing them, it's true.
So how do we turn it around? I don't want to hear another person say to me, it's a lost generation. Mm-hmm. I don't believe it is.
No, I'm not pessimistic about that. I'm not. But it is very difficult. And in order to do that, the most important thing, I think, is having a better representation in decision mechanisms. Mm-hmm. Decision mechanisms are where everything is being shaped. So that's why actually we say women and democracy. Mm. That's why we say if you don't have enough women in the decision mechanisms, you won't have democracy. So the same thing goes for all the groups of people in the society. If all voices are heard equally in a balanced way, then we can talk about justice, and that's when we can talk about a better future for all our children.
What is Kadem?
Well, we were established in 2013, and we're basically focusing on women's rights, mm-hmm. and also for the whole society in general. We talk about gender justice as a better concept than gender equality, because gender equality is a very important concept that brought a lot of gains to women, and we celebrate all those gains in the mainstream women's rights discourse. However, there are a lot of loopholes too, because we see that women's rights discourse is dominated by the Western mind, Western ideology. But there are a lot of different cultures, different necessities, different sensitivities, different religions. So all those local uniqueness should be taken into account. Mm-hmm. We're working to see the local needs, so local dynamics of women, and develop solutions according to that. And so we're in the field, we're touching to women, we're trying to see their daily problems and develop projects according to those. We are a grassroots NGO. Mm-hmm. We have 44 branches, city representatives. And we also do awareness campaigns through media, through street protests, and also, of course, trainings, educations, capacity building, especially for women. For victims of violence, we provide legal counseling. And at the same time, Kadem works as a think tank too, because bringing our perspective in the literature is a very important thing for us. So we have a peer-reviewed academic journal, and at the same time, every year we have an academic conference. So through these means, again, like I said, we're trying to voice the critical approaches in the women's studies. And at the same time, we're doing advocacy work, lobbying, we're monitoring voluntarily the policies. We both support the good policies that are taking place, and at the same time We criticize the ones that need development. So we work with, we organize workshops with various partners, including NGOs that we coordinate very often, or experts, academicians, and from time to time government representatives as well. And also we have international work. We joined the United Nations Council of Women. And we are one of the 3 NGOs that have established the W20 under the G20. We're trying to work in a holistic way.
Another example that you could give us of something that Kadem has contributed to a change?
There are a lot of projects that we
Give one that's close to your heart.
It's a smaller project, but the meaning is very big. So you know that we have girls who are staying in the orphanages.
Yes.
And after age 18, they have to leave the orphanages and go their own way. And most of them are, unfortunately, they don't have any job skills. They don't have a family to go to. So as Kadem, we provide training courses, vocational training, for the girls who are aged 16 and 18. And we also aim to connect them with companies to provide employers. And some of them did start working, and they have now their own bank accounts, and they are now they're autonomous. So that's a very, very important project for us.
When you have women involved in decision making, what do they bring to the table that men
they have more voice. They bring more voice, representing all segments of society. Because, like I said, even when it comes to family, unfortunately, most of the men do not know the problems pertaining to family as well as women do. I'm not saying all the women will be the problem solvers for the families, no, but we should create that balance.
So, on that note, I'd like to ask what you think the #1 challenge is facing families universally today.
Well, I think individualization is on the rise, and this is a huge problem challenging the families in general. It's obviously being showed in a lot of research that healthy individuals are raised in healthy families. People who have inclination towards committing crime or risky behaviors in general they usually have familial problems. So we need to look at their background and how family is a stronghold for people. Let me go deeper in this topic. Family ties weakening, families detaching from one another, and this leaves individuals lacking the supportive network that they need in confronting the difficulties of the life. And secondly, it doesn't mean that when a family is well connected, it is a healthy form. There are, unfortunately, families who are in some ways degenerative or dysfunctional, either oppressing the members of the family or transmitting negative values, unethical behaviors through the bond of the family. So these are all the things that we should be tackling, and we should aim to strengthen family.
How does media affect our modern day family?
Media could play a very important role in supporting families, and to some degree it did, especially in the past. I think it was doing this more. But unfortunately today we see that there's a disproportionate coverage of either individualistic lives or, on the other side, dysfunctional families. So we see families that are breaking up, families where there are, I'll call it unethical, unconventional relationships. So I see this as an attack on family. We need to have a change, a huge change in the mindset of the people who are decision makers in the media.
Now, you're a mother,
Yes.
and you're also a professional woman. What do you bring every day when you come to work because you're a mother? What are the things you think about that a man wouldn't?
Well, my vision about being mother is closely related with the work that I'm doing here in Kadem, as it's a very hot topic. A woman, her relationship with the family, and her status in the society. I've been taught like biographies of strong women such as Hazreti Khadija, Hazreti Aisha, or look at the Islamic civilization, Shifa Hatun, Fatima al-Fihri. These are all strong figures that added a lot to their society and to the human civilization in general. And they were active. They didn't only stay at home. So, and I look at the Quran, I look at the Hadith. Of course, I'm not an expert, but what I see is there aren't much red lines as to what a woman should do. And also, personally, again, going back to my childhood, I saw a family where, for example, my mother treated the same way to me and my brothers. We didn't have much traditional codes in that sense. Or I saw my father, who encouraged me to go abroad to study in a time where a lot of the fathers I saw around wouldn't even think about doing that. And I had to do that actually because there was a hijab ban those days in Turkey. Otherwise, I wouldn't even imagine studying abroad. But since I didn't want to take off my hijab, my father was the one who opened the way to me to study abroad because he knew the importance of me developing myself. But when I came back and entered the real life, I see that there are two narratives. One is the traditional narrative, and the second is the Western-dominated narrative. In the Western one, if you look at all the women's rights studies, discourse, you will see that the only way for a woman to be autonomous, to be strong, is to work, have a good career, and the family responsibilities will block her development. And secondly, on the other way, the traditional narratives, and not all the traditional narratives, by the way, partly told that taking on the family responsibility is a very important thing, and if you go outside of the home, if you are active in the social life or in the work life, that will block you from protecting your family, and the responsibility is only on the women. And I see that neither of those reflected my understanding for the life, for the world. Here in Kadem, we believe that there's a middle path. There's a middle path, and I know that it is difficult to do this, but we need to find the ways to change, like I said, for example, the working hours, the urban planning, and all kinds of things that make it difficult for women to both protect her family and also be active in the social life. For example, in a society where family ties are weak, where a lot of the personal requirements are institutionalized,
Right.
you will have different set of solutions for women's problems. But in a society where families are strong, the members of the family, including women, are finding a lot of their solutions in the family. They require different set of solutions. It cannot be the same.
Why is it important that we have empowered women? How does that help our families and our society in general?
Strong women, strong families, they support each other. So if you're a good mother, if you're an educated mother who is a good role model for the children in the family, those children will have a healthier, better future. And if the mother has her dignity, if the mother has her autonomy, she will have the self-confidence to build a better relationship with her husband too.
And in terms of seeing a mother figure who is well empowered within her family, how does that make for a better society?
Well, the children who are raised in a healthy family environment will be able to build a good society outside of family too. But if inside the family the children do not learn the healthy models of attachment, healthy communication, I know I use the healthy word so much, but they won't be able to build good working conditions or a good policy mechanisms outside of home as well.
In terms of the Turkish family, how, what you just said, how is that affecting the Turkish family of today compared to the Turkish family of 50 years ago?
I think it's there's a quite similar trend in all over the world. The only difference is that in Turkey, families are structurally very strong. It's a very basic part of our tradition to have a strong family, to have the respect to the family bonds. So I think that's one thing that keeps this nation strong in unity, despite all the crises that we're going through.
What is the core? What makes up, when you say family, what is that one sentence you could use to divine, interesting, to define family? The essence of a family is?
Security. I can go on.
Yeah? Give me three.
Trust. And stronghold.
And how do men fit into this? I mean, it can't be just women.
The modern criteria of the times we live in are difficult for men too. And unfortunately, when we talk about the family, we take the men out of the picture.
Yeah.
When we try to identify what manhood is,
Yeah.
You can count a lot of words, and family and children, unfortunately, are usually not in it or coming to the back, you know. So we should find ways to put men and the fathers more into the familial picture, because as long as men only think about quote-unquote macro issues such as macroeconomics, international relations, you know, these kind of important issues, and as long as they see the family matters as, you know, not very important issues, we're not going to have a reform in empowering families. A family unity is only sustainable through love, compassion. And as Muslims, we can see this, we take our basic you know, criteria from the life of our Prophet. And we find that in our Prophet's life, he only showed love and compassion to the ones in his family, and he always respected their dignity, doesn't matter men or women. Even when his daughter came in and entered the house, he would stand up, greeting her, showing his respect to her.
How does domestic violence impact the family?
First and foremost, I need to put this out clearly. Violence, I see it as an anomaly. It's not a normal thing in a human nature. It is a disrespect to the Creator and the creation. It is presumptuousness, because our Creator gives us our intangibility. So no one can touch our dignity in general. And secondly, violence destroys the relationship and communication between people, among people. And someone who resorts to violence is missing the dignity of human, and missing the compassion, and missing the respect that she or he has to have to people. And when we look at the victims of violence, it kills one's self-confidence. It kills one's trust to people. And when we take it to the family level, when children see, for example, father victimizing the mother, those children also, as research show, will be prone to resorting to violence in their whole life. So again, those people will not be able to be the builders of the good society in the future.
Now you have, this year Kadem is holding the 3rd International Women and Justice Summit in Istanbul. And the theme is family empowerment. Why did you pick that theme for this summit?
Today, the reason that we are choosing the family is, of course, the threats that the family is facing. So we want to talk about all the problems that the institution of family is tackling right now. We have about 33 speakers from 17 countries, I think. We have a group of ministers coming, we have policymakers, experts in the field. So I believe that there's going to be a lot of fruitful discussions.
What kind of world would you like to see for your family, and of course families everywhere?
I would like to see a world where families are finding the environment that they need to flourish, and families are formed up in such a way to strengthen the members of the family, including women and children, but not to oppress them. And I would like to see a world where the roles of men and women and all members of the society are balanced.
Do you think that's attainable?
Well, it is difficult, but I think more than being attainable or not, it's a must. If we want to build a better future, the family is our only resort.
Is there anything else you would like to add?
Well, I thank you for coming to Kadem.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for having us.
It was very, very nice to meet you.
It was, and it was
a nice discussion.
It was nice. I feel like I want to continue. I have so many more questions, but it'll have to be